Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And I'm fixing to go ahead and try to reach Beth again. I think I got the right number put in here. We're going to find out in a minute.
This is Ross.
Hello, Beth.
Yes.
Hi, this is Royce from Talk Now Radio. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Just fine. We're live on the air now, so I guess we can go ahead and start. What I usually do to get a show started to help break the ice is I have the guests introduce themselves and tell them a little something about their book and, what got them interested in writing about their particular topic.
Right. Great. Let me know when you'd like to get started.
We're ready to start now.
Okay. My name is Beth Shaw, and my newest book is called Yogalean. It's released by Random House Publishing, and it's a complete holistic guide to taking care of your health through various means, including exercise, diet, nutrition, clean eating, space clearing, yoga, meditation, and gratitude and community service.
Okay, and what was it that got you interested in writing about yoga in particular?
Well, I'm the founder of the largest yoga school in North America. It's called Yogafit, and we train people to teach yoga. And we also lead retreats to India and workshops for the public and weight loss clinics and a variety of things all around mind, body, meditation. And my first book, called Yoga Fit, has sold over 100,000 copies worldwide. And I wanted to get more into not just yoga, but really lifestyle and how to make positive changes in your life using a number of different easy-to-access techniques, things as simple as cleaning out your kitchen, to things that perhaps would be a little more complex, like hitting the gym 5 times a week and eating gluten-free, which I really believe in.
It sounds like you're not just into yoga by itself, but overall fitness and well-being of the whole body, mind, soul, and spirit.
That's exactly it. The whole body, mind, soul, and spirit. You couldn't have said it better. So I believe that instead of trying to take things out of our lives, we should try to add things to our lives that will help us make positive shifts. Something as simple as adding a 10-minute meditation a day, or doing a gratitude list every night, or, just doing a chant, or heavy-duty weight training. All of these things, if we start incorporating our little bits into our lives, we end up healthier as opposed to being in a state where we feel like we're having to deprive ourselves of something.
I've been noticing that same thing here recently. I've mentioned on the air earlier, and everybody pretty well knows it by now, that I'm in the 4th stages of emphysema. And I was looking up online about things you could do to help reverse emphysema because the doctors say you can't, and I'm not willing to accept that since it means my life. I'd rather be in denial and keep trying to find something.
No, that's good. You need to live in the land of hope constantly.
So what I've done, though, is I've discovered that that vitamin A, they are now starting to discover, has an effect of regenerating. Actually, it's Ritalin or Riticon or something that's in the vitamin A can regenerate lung tissue. And they recommend that rather than taking a supplement, that it'd be better to just change your diet. So, rather than say take away the meat from your hamburger, you can take away 1 hamburger patty and add a garden instead with lettuce and tomato, which will give you a lot of that vitamin A. And it's like you said, you're not exactly taking away, you're putting more in, you're putting more of something more valuable in it, in other words.
Exactly. And that way we never feel in a state of deprivation, but instead where you feel like we're actually contributing to our lives in a very positive way.
Which is also very important. Does some of the stuff that you write about and that you cover, does it help with things like depression and other, say, emotional disorders?
It's funny you should mention that. I myself have suffered from depression for over 20 years, and I have done a variety of natural and unnatural things to cure my depression. And I have a fairly active regime that I follow that includes a lot of natural products. Irwin Naturals makes a great product called Sunny Mood. I believe in taking 5-HTP. Inversions, yoga inversions, are very important, putting your head below your heart. So I try to do a headstand on a supported headstand machine every single day for the benefits of mood. I also really try to exercise every day, usually weight training, sometimes cardiovascular, because I find that makes a dramatic shift in mood. And also making sure that I have adequate amount of B vitamins, also very important to balance out the nervous system. And speaking of the nervous system, things like fish oil also so crucial to maintaining our mood. In my book, Yogalean, we really talk a lot about Ayurvedic medicine, which is part of yoga. In the tradition of yoga and Indian medicine, there are many Ayurvedic herbs that are very good for restoring balance to the body, and it's very important that we all understand what our Ayurvedic body type or dosha is. And in my book, we go into the 3 different doshas, Kapha, Pitta, and Vata. And, for example, people dealing with depression, oftentimes that is either a heavy Kapha imbalance or a Vata imbalance. And things like essential fatty acids and oils can go a long way to balance out imbalances of Vata.
Kind of like omega-3?
Exactly. Flaxseed oil, omega-3. I believe most people, unless they have a very large weight issue, are really excellent candidates for more oil in their diet and actually, a little bit of fat as well. So I think that understanding your Ayurvedic body type is so important. And in fact, I'm doing a really interesting 10 days in Austin, Texas, September 25th through October 3rd. It's our Yogalean retreat and coaching immersion. And we'll be doing it at a retreat center, a yoga retreat center in Austin, Texas, where people can come for a week and they can lose weight, or they can come and learn about Ayurveda with our Ayurvedic specialist who has studied at allopathic and Ayurvedic hospitals in India. And actually, she works with me once a week with various herbs that I'm taking to restore balance to my body. So, I think a combination of things and people really understanding that, like yourself, if you're suffering from a condition, don't always believe what the doctors say. It's so important that we try whatever we can, and I believe trying whatever means possible to find healing, because our bodies naturally want to heal, and sometimes we just need to find the right things to put in them to help that process.
About what you was just mentioning about don't believe everything the doctor says, one of the thoughts that has occurred to me is when a doctor says you have cancer and it's not curable, or you're in the 4th stage of emphysema, it's not curable, is most people don't really realize what they're actually telling you. They are basing this on the fact that medical science, the things that they studied, has not found a cure. They don't even look at holistic or apothecary or nature, spiritual, or any of the other deals, so they don't know one way or another. And even if they did read on it, they wouldn't believe it. So to them, if it's not in the academic community, it don't exist. Does not necessarily mean that a cure does not exist, however.
Yeah, look, I don't believe in taking anybody's word 100% on anything. And I also believe in the infinite possibility of healing of the human body that wants to heal. You get a cut, it heals. You get a cold, it heals. The human body wants to heal. Sometimes we are so out of balance based upon our lifestyle, our diet, and then our genetics that we get ourselves into trouble. But I believe it's never too late to turn it around. And I also believe that positive mindset is 90% of health and healing. So we must always maintain positivity and hold within us. In my book, Yogalean, I call it lean consciousness. The yogis call it witness consciousness. I'd like to call it health consciousness. We always need to keep ourselves in a state of, I am healthy. I am healthy. And that goes a long way. You see some people who are chronically sick and then choose to not do anything about it. These people are getting a payoff from being sick. And so, I believe when we come down with a health crisis, we have to ask ourselves, what caused this? What is the emotional, psychological, spiritual reason and lesson that I need to learn? And not only look at our healing crisis from a strictly physical standpoint, but also really a metaphysical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, and emotional component. And from there, we have the amazing potential to heal.
Well, it only seems logical to me that if your body, mind, and spirit is what you're made of, well, if any one of those three is out of sync, you're going to have a problem.
Exactly. You are very right on the money.
Before we forget, because I have a tendency to get wrapped up in these conversations and forget to do things, you want to mention your website if you've got one so everybody know where to find you?
Yeah, my website, people can go to Yogalean.com if they're interested in the book or the retreat. They can go to YogaFit.com if they're interested in getting the teacher training or a yoga seminar or workshop or conference. We're having a great one in Dallas, Texas this July. I'll be there. July 16th through the 21st, we'll be in Dallas, Texas for a big mind body fitness conference with all different things, including Ayurveda 1 and 2. I'd love to invite you to come and join us. Again, you can find out that information on yogafit.com. And if you just want to buy the book and learn more about Yogalean recipes and weight loss, you can go to yogalean.com and also join us in Austin, Texas in September, the 25th through the 3rd of October.
Okay. Now, what all are the areas in Texas you're going to be coming to?
Well, we do teacher trainings everywhere in Texas all the time. And so people can go to yogafit.com and look on the search button, find a training near you, and get themselves into a training.
Okay. Now, while I'm thinking about it, what are some of the other books you have besides the Yogalean? And you mentioned another one a minute ago, and I already forgot the name of it.
Yoga Fit. That was my
Fit.
first book. Yeah.
Are there any other books you have out there?
I'm coming out with Yoga for Athletes, and that will be released next January through Random House. And I've got over 100 DVDs on yogafit.com, as well as beautiful music CDs for enjoyment and meditation.
Okay. Now, meditation, isn't that also a very part of the whole process?
Meditation is really beautiful because it's very healing, and anyone can meditate. That's the nice thing. You don't have to be fit to meditate.
No, you don't have to be fit, but the ability to clear your mind and thoughts to focus is another story as well.
Well, that's actually a fallacy. If we're lucky when we're meditating and we clear our minds for a few moments, we're lucky. It's really the act and the process and the discipline of doing a daily meditation that is literally like taking the garbage out of the mind, balances the nervous system, lowers your blood pressure, lowers your cortisol levels, increases positive mood, and really connects you body, mind, and spirit. So just engaging in that process on a regular basis is what really matters. I myself am a TM practitioner, and I sing the praises of meditation because I've experienced so many beautiful benefits in my own life. I've been just doing a very regular meditation practice now for over 3 years, and it's really changed my life, I have to say. It's enabled me to reduce down antidepressant medication, and it's balanced me out. It's made me a lot more reactive, a lot more calm, and kind of helps me with my super type A personality.
Super A type personality?
Yeah, thank God for yoga and meditation, or I would be just a disaster.
Okay, so is that anything like alpha male?
Well, it's just, it's a very achievement-oriented personality that also has a tendency towards disruptive thought and difficulty focusing on one thing for very long periods of time.
I see. Now, have you actually seen any of these methods used by YogaFit or Yogalean have any type of curative effects on anything like diabetes, cancer, COPD, or any and all of the above, or anything not mentioned?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You know, YogaFit has a Warriors program for the military, and we work very closely with veterans and the military through our YogaFit Warriors program. In fact, we did a big complimentary training at Fort Hood last fall to honor the tragedy that had happened there and the people that were affected. So our YogaFit Warriors program really deals with a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder, trauma, yoga for mental health, and we have seen a lot of reduction of stress and suicidal thoughts and things of that nature due to our YogaFit Warriors program.
So the VA, what is their role that they play? They just provide the facilities for you to teach in, or?
Yeah, they provide the facilities. We do a lot of trainings on Army bases, Navy bases all around the world. YogaFit does that. And we're the only yoga training program approved by the GI Bill. We also are involved with MyCAA, so military spouses can take advantage of getting their trainings paid for through the MyCAA program. And again, all of this is available on yogafit.com if anyone, you know, is in the military who is listening, and we thank you so much. My father was a World War II veteran, and he got a Purple Heart. You know, so we're really like about supporting our troops with our YogaFit Warriors program.
So let's say me being an ex-Marine, which I hear there's no such thing as an ex-Marine, went into the VA hospital tomorrow and said, hey, can y'all help set me up on the Yogalean program or the Warriors program? They should be able to do something to help me get involved with it.
Well, what I would do first is I would reach out to, you know, on our website and see where there's a Warriors training near you. But certainly you could contact us off of our website, or you could email the program director of YogaFit Warriors. Her email is warrior@yogafit.com. She's actually a lieutenant colonel in the Army, and she was the one, Shay Mullendike, who created the YogaFit Warriors program. Many of our YogaFit master trainers are actually enlisted military. Tracy Jennings Hill, Brett Barnes, and several members on our team are in the military. Again, it's something that's very important to us as a company to support and give back to the military. We give military discounts on all of our YogaFit trainings, and we're always doing special programming. So we're just you know, very committed to that.
Sounds like you already answered my next question, which is going to be, does the VA or the military pick up the cost of the actual meditation or the class?
I believe that they contribute to it. I believe through the GI Bill, you could probably get it 100% paid for. And again, if you're a military spouse, you can go through the MyCAA program, and the information on that is available on yogafit.com.
Wow. That's some pretty heavy duty to be able to get that kind of cooperation from the government and the military.
Well, you know, let's face it. We've got a lot of people in this country who have done really right by our country, and I believe that the U.S. government is just spot on in looking at complementary ways, and I don't call them alternative anymore. I call them complementary ways of healing. And yoga, meditation, guided imagery, visualization, yoga therapy. We have a 1,000-hour yoga therapy program. These are all complementary things that even if you are, you know, diehard believer in Western medicine and take prescription pills and all of that, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying just like we're going to add more healthy things into our diet, like more salads and more vegetables and more oils and more herbs, we're going to also want to say, if we want to heal, we need to add in yoga. We need to add in meditation. We need to look at things that have been around for, you know, a very long 8,000 years that are sciences of healing that really predate any Western medication.
Okay. Now, earlier you was talking about the importance of positive thinking. If you don't mind me going back to that, I hadn't thought at the time. Isn't it true that not only is it important for positive thinking, but negative thinking, thoughts, emotions, or whatever, have a tendency to destroy the immune system, which naturally makes it nightmare impossible to get any kind of healing until you do deal with it?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. In fact, I just saw a study somewhere that said that if you're like not in a very positive mind space, your brain functions like 30% less, whether you're in indifference, sorrow, or anger. So, brain function controls a lot of body function, obviously. If we have stress, our cortisol levels are continuously high, it's going to be harder to lose weight. We're going to want to go for comfort foods like sugar and white flour, which then perpetuate a system, or we might go for a quick stress release like a nicotine cigarette, or we may go for a cocktail, which is going to have a rebound effect of depression and robs the oxygen from our blood. Or we might go for a drug, which, has a whole host of other challenges. So really important to keep ourselves in a positive mindset by doing a lot of self-talk. And there was an article in last month's Psychology Today magazine that said when you're practicing self-talk, you'll want to use your name also. So, for example, if I was trying to get myself out of a mood or get myself into action, I would say to myself, Beth, you can do this. Beth, you're going to have a great day. Because then your mind is almost taking it as a direction, and by hearing our name, it registers a little bit deeper. So self-talk, positive affirmation, and really feeling the feelings of joy, even if we're not in a joyous state. And we can feel feelings of joy by listening to our favorite music, by singing, by taking our dogs for a walk, by exercising, by doing a quick couple of yoga moves. But really feeling the feelings of positivity in our bodies will put us in a better mood.
Or maybe just going out and making friends and meeting people, get your mind off of what's troubling it and put it on the new people you're meeting, which, granted, there's a risk of frustration involved in that, but it's not nearly as hard as already being there.
There are a lot of beautiful support groups in our country. People who are challenged with overeating can go to an Overeaters Anonymous meeting. People who have challenges with alcohol can go to AA. Other than places of worship, which, some people like to go to for positive inspiration, there are also a lot of support groups in our country, and we're so blessed with, a variety of options. So whatever you're challenged with, even if it's a pet bereavement group, you can go and connect with people, and there's a huge value in that. I'd also like to bring in animals right now because I'm in the car with my rescue dog, Bentley, and we're driving in Los Angeles, and I'm a huge animal advocate. I advocate for spay neuter and for people adopting dogs and not buying them. And having a pet really is stress reduction. Having a pet gives you unconditional love, a lot of purpose. There's a lot of really beautiful things that come from an animal in your life. So I would highly recommend if people are struggling or they want to lose weight and they can bring a homeless dog into their house, to go to their local animal shelter and rescue a dog and go out walking with it like I do with Bentley every night. I find it to be very calming, very balancing, very enjoyable, listen to little music, and pets can really bring a lot of light into your life without drama.
And, that's what I was kind of more or less getting at is get involved with something, because the more it seems to me like a person, like, say, stays in their bedroom, watches TV, naps, stays on the computer, what they're doing is in their mind, they're replaying and reliving events that are troubling them, and that just leads to more negative thoughts and digs you deeper into the depression, and you really need a distraction to get you away from that, in other words.
Right. It really becomes a downward spiral, as my friend Dr. Bill Larkin says, who wrote a great book called Growing the Positive Mind. So it is very important to recognize when you are slipping into a dark place and do a pattern interrupt and do what you don't want to do. Go to the gym if you don't want to go to the gym. Go for a walk if you don't want to go for a walk. Go to a coffee house. Go meet a friend. Go to your church. Get out. Don't wallow because, like you said, misery leads to more misery. Downward spiral only goes down. And when you notice you're going into a downward spiral, it's really crucial that you try and snap yourself out of it as quickly as possible.
That's why me personally, and I'm not a doctor or anything, don't get me wrong, but I've had family and friends who have had depression, and just by watching them, what I would come to find out from my way of thinking is the less you're actually alone if you're suffering depression, the better your chances are of a sooner recovery.
Yeah, isolation is something that typically people do when they are depressed, and isolation really doesn't lead to a positive result.
Leads to a negative result because
Exactly.
You got all that, while you're alone, that your devils will come and haunt you worse and worse, that downward spiral.
They most certainly will. They will.
Whereas if you're out there with people distracting you, it's hard to sit there and dwell on it. And therein, I think, lies the danger is in the word dwell.
Yeah, and I think, our mind it can be a very dangerous place, and our mind can be equally our friend and our enemy. And I think a lot of times, due to subconscious programming, due to our childhood, due to issues that we haven't dealt with, our mind actually works against us more often than not. Let's take for weight loss, for example. Now, everyone knows how to lose weight, right? If we're going to go out in the street and we ask people, how do you lose weight? 9 times out of 10 people will go, eat less, exercise more, right?
Uh-huh. I am sorry, Beth. I'm reading something that Mer Bailey put in the chat room while I'm listening to you, so I kind of got distracted because it appears to be a question for you, I think.
Okay.
It says, in your book, you talk about harnessing the power of your listeners' collective goodwill to weaken a hurricane. I've always called it a wireless internet. There's something out there that has incredible ability to control, steer, push, manipulate. I think people in masses all somehow get onto this connection and can change events. I'm not saying we were responsible for these things, but it sure is strange that, that was the end of it. It looks like. That I guess wasn't a question, but I guess she was just commenting on a part she evidently, I guess, has read your book and read that part in it. Does that sound like something that was in your book?
I don't exactly recall that in my book, but I think what she was alluding to is the power of collective thought to affect change on the planet. Am I on the same page with you on that?
Okay, well, I thought that might have been a question for you, but it looks like I was wrong.
In any event, please thank the listener for listening and reading my book, Yogalean. I'm hoping she was referring to Yogalean, and maybe she was referring to Yoga Fit. But, our minds have tremendous power over our bodies. We need to know that, recognize it, and not make ourselves a victim. 1. 2, our food source is really depleted, and we eat a lot of stuff that doesn't agree with our digestive system, and colon health is really a key component for anyone who's having a health crisis. Is they need to look at their digestive system, their colon, and really, try to eat as cleanly as possible. In my book, Yogalean, I also advocate on people participating in space clearing, like actually clearing the clutter out of their homes. I have a free downloadable app, Yogalean. People can download that and get on the 7-week Yogalean program. I'll tell you what to eat every day. I'll tell you how to eat if you're traveling or out and about on the road. I give you assignments so that you can tackle another room in your house every week. And over the course of 7 weeks, you will have lightened your load physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and in every other way. So a lot of it is about the outside needs to match the inside. And if you're living in a state of chaos and clutter, chances are your body is suffering from that as well.
So then you would say maybe perhaps feng shui plays a role as well?
Oh, definitely. That's going to be in my next book that I'm writing that will come out after Yoga for Athletes. But definitely feng shui, space clearing, just getting rid of stuff that you're not using that sucks up your energy. If we look at all material things on the planet, everything is made of molecules, right? Energy, that's science. And so what's happening is if you have a lot of clutter in your space, you're like sucking the energy from you, especially if it's something that maybe reminds you of your ex-husband or something that someone gave you and you don't really like that person, or things you may be keeping out of obligation. And what is excess weight on a body? Unless you have a glandular issue or metabolic condition, chances are excess weight means you're a food hoarder and you're hoarding too much food in your body, so you need to stop that. So when we're talking about external space clearing, we're also talking about, hey, it's time to get real and stop hoarding food, eat less, exercise more, get rid of your stuff, lighten up, and you'll feel better. I guarantee it. That's my Yogalean promise to all of your listeners.
What about people that say will refuse to eat a regular balanced meal at mealtime, like your starch, your meat, your veggie, whatever comes with the meal? Never is hungry at mealtime, but is always hungry at snack time, and all they eat is crackers, chips, other, junk type foods, in other words.
Well, what I would say from an Ayurvedic perspective, again, Ayurvedic medicine, it's been around for thousands and thousands of years, is I would say they have a vata imbalance. And these people generally are not overweight people. Would you agree with that statement?
Well, the one person had in mind is overweight.
All right. Well, then they're eating a lot of snack foods, and they're probably eating times that you don't know it. Food addiction runs rampant in our society, and there's a really great book that I read last summer by a woman named Frances Couple with a K, and it's called Passing for Sin. She also wrote a follow-up book called Eating Ice Cream with My Dog. And if you read those two books, you'll really get into the mind of a food addict. And let's face it, the food addiction is not more socially acceptable than drug addiction or alcoholism. And if people are looking to stuff their feelings in some way, shape, or form, and they're turning to food to do that, they're going to end up being overweight. And there are things, the good news is there are things you can do to change your food addiction.
So this is mostly about food addiction to particular types of food, for example.
Well, I think that, look, we all have comfort foods. Like, I like popcorn. I love cheese. I couldn't care less about chocolate or cake, but give me a good piece of cheese, like, I'm happy. So we all have comfort foods. Some people just don't like to eat certain foods, and we're talking about adding positive things, and no one needs to eat 3 huge meals a day. I'm an advocate of eating 6 small meals a day. So there are different ways that we can navigate to get our metabolism functioning better, make our digestive system work better because we're not weighing it down. There's also the first book that I ever read, I was in college and I had gotten into a car accident. I went to chiropractors to fix my neck. And they turned me on to food combining, and there was a book called Fit for Life by Harvey and Marilyn Diamond. It's old school. It's from like the late 80s. And this book really talked about what foods digest easiest together and which foods don't. And, for example, a starch or a carbohydrate and a protein is very hard in the digestive system to eat together. So if I were to go and, let's say, order a turkey burger, I would say no bun. I never eat the bun. I don't eat white flour. I don't eat wheat. I'm gluten-free, and I think everyone in this country should get either a blood test or saliva test to see if they're gluten intolerant or have celiac, because it runs rampant right now, and it creates a whole host of problems, not just digestive problems and bloating, but also things like skin issues, brain fog, mental disruption. So, getting a blood test, also very important to learn where you're deficient. Are you deficient in your B vitamins? Are you having cholesterol problems. So we really learn a lot from getting our blood work done, and that I would say is a really, good first step. When we do our coaching, immersion, and Yogalean retreat in Austin, Texas, we're going to ask that people show up with their blood work done, so that we can kind of know where everyone's at.
Okay, now me personally, I can tell you that I suffer from ulcerative colitis. Have you got any comments of a person that suffers with that?
Yes, I do, actually. Um, you know, getting the digestive system back in working order is really key. So I would personally suggest a mono diet for a period of a week. And a mono diet is basically you're only eating one or two things. You're also going to want to make sure that your body is in a state of being alkaline and not acidic. Our diets generally and our stress levels create very acidy bodies. So you can do there's a little stick that you can buy in the pharmacy that you urinate on, and you can see your acid level versus your alkaline levels. Drinking hot water every morning with some lemon is very good. I would suggest on a mono diet maybe just some soft, fibrous food like oatmeal that's gluten-free, and perhaps some cooked vegetables. Maybe for a little protein, if someone has to have a chicken breast or a hard-boiled egg every couple of days, eggs are a little hard on some people's digestive system. I would suggest a mono diet. I would suggest some colon cleaning. Some people like colonics. Some people use Kalima boards. Some people do enemas with coffee. So there are different ways to clean the colon, but to keep the colon function and health, you're going to want to do some yoga exercises as outlined in my book, Yoga Fit. There's a technique called Nauli, where you isolate your core center muscles and you literally try to kind of rotate your intestines around. It's hard to describe. It looks a little strange, but you can Google it, Nauli, Nauli. And some deep belly breathing. Breathing is also very good for healing, reducing stress levels. Meditation is so great for colitis because irritable bowel syndrome is really a mental issue more than anything else. So many, many things that we can do naturally to heal our own bodies without having to go to a doctor and get medication that may or may not in the long run be helpful to us.
So if you're a person that's, say, impatient, that gets frustrated and yells at people quickly, and that you're more likely going to lead yourself into something like colitis?
Yeah, definitely, anger. I said to a friend the other day who was a therapist, I said, a lot of people in Italy die of cancer. And he goes, that's because everybody's angry. Stress, anger, all leads to health issues. But then if we're looking at anger from an Ayurvedic perspective, it's a pitta imbalance. The characteristics of pitta, again, one of the three doshas, vata, pitta, kapha, the characteristics of pitta are very hot-tempered people. They heat up easily. They like spicy foods. They seek adrenaline. They're very type A personalities. They're very quick to anger. But there are cooling things that we can do to cool pitta, drinking watermelon juice, eating a lot of raw foods and cucumbers, cooling foods, cooling yoga poses like forward fold, restorative yoga that reduces the stress levels. So again, no matter what condition we're dealing with, we can always add in a complementary treatment such as yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, or clean eating and cause a positive shift.
Okay, what exactly is a type A personality?
A type A personality is someone who gets things done, someone who's very achievement-oriented, someone who is rather aggressive, versus a type B person. They're more laid back and they take life a little bit easier.
Oh.
But you're not going to see any type B people as CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. At the post office, you might see a lot of type B people.
Well, you pretty much described me pretty good. I've spent my whole life with anger issues, which I finally got those calmed down to just mostly yelling in my later years. But I've also been grab the bull by the horns, get things done, organized, efficient, pretty aggressive, always wanting to be the best in everything I did. And I guess all of this over time could build up on you, in other words.
Yeah, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And again, there are many things that we were raised with. My father, for an example, drank way too much. My mother had a lot of anger issues. Her father had anger issues. So a lot of these things then become genetic. And so we have our genetics, and then we have the people who gave us our genes raising us, which causes even more issue. So a lot of things are genetic. A lot of things can be cured with meditation or medication. But I really would like to impress on all of the listeners, explore. Take your health into your own hands. Be a warrior for your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual health. We all need to be warriors for that, because no one at the end of the day can do it for us, unfortunately. No one can go to the gym and work out for us. No one can go to a therapist and have a session for us. No one can go to church for us, And so by the time we get to the point where we have a major challenge, oftentimes it's too late.
So, now me personally, I keep all my doctor's appointments. I go to the hospital if I need to. But what I do is, rather than try to give up academic medicine in favor of spiritual or holistic, is I rather keep the academic medicine and augment with the other types, in other words. Would you say that's a better balanced approach?
Yeah, I'm not saying that anybody should give up their doctor, but I'm saying that there are things that we can add in.
Augment.
That will help us heal.
Yeah, and especially since, from my way of thinking, if I go see a doctor and they tell me you have cancer and you can't be cured, you're going to die in 2 years, rather than just take their chemo and say, let me hang around to die, I'd rather say, well, what can I do to augment this that may or may not work? I mean, what do you have to lose at that point? You got a definite death sentence versus a hope we'll find a way to live deal. Which makes more sense? I mean, you don't have to veto one to get the other. You see what I'm saying? Uh-oh, did I lose her? Beth, are you still with me? I think I lost my guess.
Hi, I'm here. Here. Very few things are black and white in life, and I believe in my book Yogalean, again, it's all about the wheel of health, and if you look at the wheel of a bicycle, we need to have all of the spokes equally strong, or the bike does not move forward, right?
Right.
So while certainly your doctor is one of the spokes, the medication may be one of the spokes, there are a lot of other spokes that need to be addressed. The diet, the exercise, the supplements, the mental programming, the clearing out of past issues, the cleaning up of your life and your house, and all of that.
Right. So in other words, to put it in layman's terms, you don't want to forget to add your sauce and your seasonings to your pasta when you're making spaghetti.
Right.
Now, we got about roughly 10 to 15 minutes left in the show, and when I get to this point, I usually like to ask the guests if there's anything that they'd like to mention that I haven't thought to ask or didn't know to ask about, in an effort to kind of help you get everything out there that you want to get out there totally. So you got anything else you'd like to add out there we haven't got a chance to cover?
Yeah, I mean, you've been really lovely because you're so knowledgeable on all of these things. So I first want to thank you and say that it's been a true pleasure chatting with you today. And I think it's inspiring and encouraging to everyone listening that you have health challenges that you're dealing with and are open to a variety of body-mind applications to assist in your healing. If people would like to take a Yoga Fit training or seminar or Yoga Fit Warriors or come to our conference in Dallas, they should come to yogafit.com. I'd love to meet everyone in July. And we'd love to have you come and spend some time with us in Austin, Texas at the Yogalean Coaching Immersion and Yogalean Retreat, also featuring Ayurvedic medicine, and that will happen in Austin, Texas, September 25th through October 3rd. The website is yogalean.com on that. If people just kind of want to check out my personal website, bethshaw.com, I give a lot of helpful tips. I blog on things that I'm up to. You know, I'm always trying new health things. I like to think of myself as a guinea pig, and I always need to keep trying different things. So I talk about, you know, anything from plant medicine to a new cleanse that I went on, you know, entertaining, informative blogs. And if people are on social media, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. And I just want to thank you so much. I've actually got to run off to an appointment, but I would like to thank you so much. And I look forward to speaking soon again.
Well, I thank you for coming on to the show, and I was going to let you know the door's always open to come back. I think your publicist has my email. Just shoot me an email if you need to go, you know, come back and tell us about your next book or something else you have going on, and I'll get you on the schedule.
Great. And again, we hope to see you in Dallas or in Austin at a Yoga Fit event.
I would like to come to something like that, but right now I'm not sure how I would afford to make the trip until I got my income improved. We're just now starting to come out of the hole again. Who knows, by that time I might be out of the hole.
Great. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you, and good luck with your radio show.
Okay. Thank you, and good luck with your books.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.